movies and the real story behind their wedding.
These are rare home movies of Lucy and Desi's wedding. It's actually their second ceremony. They threw it for family and friends, but there was also a secret reason for the celebration: to break a curse so they could have a baby.
My parents were actually married to each other twice. The second time was in the Catholic Church because they were trying to have children, and I think my father's mother convinced them that the reason they didn't was because they weren't married in the eyes of God.
Welcome. I'm Lucy Arnaz. What you're about to see is a family history.
Lucy Arnaz has put a CD-ROM together documenting the private lives of her very public parents.
This is in Chatsworth. And everybody said, you know, she's raised the chickens and the cows and all this and pigs so that they would have food, so they could, during the war, you know. Right. And my mother could never kill the chickens for food. She said all my chickens died of natural causes.
On it are pictures of the famous couple's first wedding. But even more intriguing are audio tapes of Desi and Lucy that have never been played publicly before anywhere else.
I'll marry you tomorrow. She said, why? I said, we're going to get married tomorrow. I said, I want kids. And she said, well, this. I said, look, you love me? She said, yes, I love you. She said, what else is there? So we got married the next day.
We were taking time out for a honeymoon then. So we had part of our honeymoon in New York at the Pierre.
This is her voice from 1964, talking into those tapes, for the autobiography. And this is the first time I have heard them when I found them and put them in here.
We went to Palm Springs for 10 days, and then I think we went to Florida.
See that smile come across your face when you hear your mom and dad's voice. It's got to be a great thing.
I think every kid who could tune back into their parents talking the way they really sounded after they're gone gets that same feeling.
You can also hear Lucy talk about her childhood and the early years she spent struggling to break into show business.
I wanted to be in vaudeville, which I've said 1,000 times, and I went to New York trying to get into vaudeville. Little did I know that it was dead and gone. There was no more vaudeville.
These tapes and home movies have helped Lucy learn a lot about her parents. But she says the biggest revelation is she now knows just how much they truly loved each other at one time.
I grew up as a child of divorce, and you can tend to think that your parents never loved one another, that, you know, you see them kissing on television. Why don't they do that at home? And then when I found these little traces of how passionate their lives had been at one time, that's the biggest revelation, that they actually had a fantastic marriage.
And these scenes from this CD-ROM remind us all of a magical moment in time when a handsome Cuban fell for a beautiful redhead. And who could blame him? We all love Lucy.